Right now at noon, the Hood River County Sheriff's Office is searching for this person they say stole a safe from a fish market. A shocking crime, all caught on camera. Plus,
any accusation of non-consensual behavior is categorically false.
A major shakeup in a key U.S. Senate race as the Democratic candidate in Maine is now facing a sexual assault allegation, his denial, and the growing pressure to withdraw. Plus, the cost of jet fuel going down, but ticket prices remain sky high, while experts say airlines are in no rush to lower them. And taking a live look over the Dalles, where red flag warnings are now in effect for critical fire danger. Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us at noon. I'm Tim Gordon. Winds could gust up to 35 miles per hour today. And with that in mind, let's get straight to Celine Stevens, who's tracking dry conditions out there. Hey, Celine.
Hi, Tim. Yeah, exactly. That red flag warning goes into effect in about 1 hour for the gorge. But real quick, taking a live look at our sky camera here in the Rose City, 69 degrees at the moment. Temperatures are heating up. We're going to get warm here in the Portland metro area pretty soon. But we're talking about that red flag warning again for the gorge going into effect at 1 p.m. That's going to last all day long because, like you said, we're going to see wind speeds gusting around 35 miles per hour. Humidity is going to drop to around 15% potentially. And of course, that just puts us in a position where we're looking at critical fire conditions. So that's something to be tracking and be aware of if you're in the area. Looking at our wind speeds coming up, so you'll see by 6:30 p.m. Portland is even a little breezy at 22 mile per hour wind speeds, but the Dalles sitting just above 30 mile per hour winds. Even into Wednesday, 34 mile per hour winds by 4:30 p.m. on a Wednesday afternoon. So we're continuously seeing these stronger winds in that region, and again paired with the warmer temperatures and the lower humidity, that can create some real issues in terms of fire, and we've already seen issues with that there as of last week. But looking at humidity right now, as you can see, looking over in the Dalles, 39% humidity, so not too bad right now, but we are expecting it to drop as we get later into the afternoon. But real fast, current temperatures 69 here at home and in Troutdale and Vancouver, 71 in McMinnville. Along the coast, temperatures in the 50s and 60s, and we're supposed to hit the 80s today. We'll talk more about it in the full forecast, Tim.
Okay, thanks, Celine. We'll see you then. Well, your utility bill is about to go down, and data centers are expected to pay a lot more. That's because the Oregon Public Utility Commission just approved PGE's lower rate changes. Is expected to be about 1.3% of a decrease for residential customers. Small businesses should see a 3.7% decrease, but data centers should see a 29% increase in their rates. This all stems from a new bill Governor Tina Kotek signed into law last year called the Power Act. It creates a new energy rate class for data centers and other very large energy users, helping shift the cost of data centers away from normal users.
If a customer uses an extraordinary amount of electricity and requires major investments in new power lines, substations like this one, and other infrastructure, they should pay their fair share for the costs of that infrastructure.
Now, customers could see the changes reflected as soon as their August bill. One of Oregon's cities facing backlash for its data centers is Hillsboro, with some community leaders, farmers, and businesses now suing the city. The lawsuit is alleging that Hillsboro and Washington County improperly issued approvals needed for property tax breaks for multiple data center applications. Petitioners also allege the city has given out about $84 million in tax breaks to centers this year alone. They say those breaks have caused water and energy bills to go up for residents, school closures, and teacher layoffs, and have threatened watershed and farmlands. Hillsboro City Council leaders are now looking at pausing new data center construction and what to do moving forward. Meanwhile, tonight's Hillsboro City Council meeting will not only go over how to manage that lawsuit, but also whether to censure City Councilor Christian Salgado. In June, tensions between Salgado, other city leaders, and the community rose, with the council ending the contentious meeting early. A special meeting held over Zoom followed that, outlining options for councilors moving forward. A censure does not mean he would be removed as a councilor. Instead, it acknowledges that he violated council rules. Councilor Salgado has since apologized and asked that people focus on the facts over feelings, calling this a political witch hunt. Well, President Trump has begun meetings at a high-stakes NATO summit in Turkey. The war in Ukraine is a key focus, with Russia stepping up its deadly attacks on Kyiv. NBC's Alice Barr reports.
President Trump in Turkey for a critical NATO summit, venting frustration with the alliance over the Iran war.
They said they wouldn't be there, and we've invested trillions of dollars in NATO.
and noting that if the Turkish president sitting beside him weren't the host,
it's possible that I wouldn't have attended.
President Trump also saying the U.S. will drop sanctions on Turkey and may lift a ban on selling them F-35 fighter jets.
It's certainly something we will consider.
That ban started in the first Trump term when Turkey bought an air defense system from Russia, all amid a renewed push to end Russia's war on Ukraine. Overnight, Ukraine released new video of drone attacks on military targets in Russia. After at least 22 Ukrainians were killed Monday in a wave of Russian strikes on Kyiv. President Trump is set to meet with Ukrainian President Zelensky at the summit, following calls with both Zelensky and Russian President Putin over the weekend.
I think they both want to make a deal.
Russia has now launched 2 deadly bombardments in less than a week. The death toll chilling evidence of Ukraine's dwindling missile defenses, something they'll keep pushing NATO for this week. Zelensky has frequently pointed to delays in restocking military supplies.
We need more pressure, more anti-ballistic, and more sanctions on Russia.
Part of the challenge, the war with Iran has raised concerns American resources are strained, though the White House is adamant the military has what it needs. As overnight, Iran fired missiles at commercial ships in the Strait of Hormuz, according to a U.S. official. That fragile ceasefire also hanging over the summit. President Trump posted overnight that the American military has never been stronger, but that Congress must pass $350 billion in defense spending to keep it that way. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
And here's a look at some national headlines this afternoon. We're now entering day 2 in court proceedings for the man accused of killing conservative activist Charlie Kirk. A judge is considering evidence before a possible trial for Tyler Robinson. If convicted, he could face the death penalty. The 23-year-old is accused of firing the shot that killed Kirk at an outdoor event on the Utah Valley University campus last September. In the courtroom yesterday, his widow, Erica, was in attendance along with Donald Trump Jr. The preliminary hearing is expected to last 5 days. Well, Maine Democratic Senate nominee Graham Plattner says he is reassessing his campaign after a woman accused him of rape. The woman, who was previously romantically involved with Plattner, says he forced her into non-consensual sex 5 years ago. Plattner denies the allegation.
I don't believe that you can think that that scenario was consensual. You have to understand that that wasn't. When somebody is repeatedly, when somebody in the middle of it says, "Don't touch me," that's obviously not consensual.
Now, this is not the first accusation Plattner has faced during his campaign. A former girlfriend told the New York Times he, quote, twisted her arm behind her back and shoved her in a bedroom. Plattner also had a tattoo widely recognized as a Nazi SS symbol covered up after backlash, saying he didn't know its meaning. SpaceX launched into the NASDAQ 100 Tuesday. It's one of the most watched technology benchmarks of the world. More than 200 investment products track it. People who hold those funds automatically are getting a piece of the SpaceX pie now. The company has a market value of more than $2 trillion. The price of oil is down to pre-Iran war levels, but the cost of airplane tickets remains sky high. According to CNN, airfares are up about 15 to 20% from a year ago, but jet fuel prices are down at least 35% since their peak in April. Experts say demand is keeping prices high, and that as long as people keep buying tickets, airlines will have little motivation to lower prices. They also say the bankruptcy of Spirit Airlines removed a lot of pressure for legacy airlines to compete on price. Meanwhile, Delta and United Airlines stocks hit a record high last month. American Airlines stock rose 30%.